Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The morning sun bathed the small town of Brooksville in a soft, peaceful light. Birds sang, cars drove slowly along the quiet streets, and the residents began their day with routine. But this tranquility would soon be shattered by an event no one could have foreseen. 17-year-old Samantha Carter adjusted her school uniform, walking briskly towards school. Her books were clutched to her chest, and her backpack bounced slightly with each step. Her hair was neatly tied back, and she had a determined look on her face. That morning, she just wanted to make it to her science class on time. A few meters away, two patrol officers, John Miller and Frank Reynolds, were vigilantly walking the street. Their attention was drawn to a female figure who, according to an earlier call from a nervous witness, seemed suspicious. Without taking the time to verify anything, they interpreted Samantha's behavior as threatening. In an instant, the scene changed, the silent sirens of authority resonated in their minds, and they decided to intervene. Samantha, taken by surprise, didn't even have time to understand what was happening before she found herself handcuffed and led to the side of the street. Her cries of incomprehension mingled with the murmurs and shocked stares of passers-by and other students watching the scene. No one knew that this simple misunderstanding would trigger a chain of events that would cost the police officers their jobs and throw the entire city into turmoil. And no one could have imagined that a single phone call would be enough to turn the situation around and uncover the truth. The sidewalk was bustling that morning, filled with uniformed students and hurried parents. Samantha Carter walked briskly, glancing occasionally at her watch. Her heart beat a little faster. She had a science project due that day, and she definitely didn't want to be late. Suddenly, two police officers appeared from the street. John Miller, the older of the two, signaled Samantha to stop. Miller, "Hey, miss. Stop immediately." Samantha raised her hands, surprised and confused. "Samantha, what? I didn't do anything. I'm just going to school." Frank Reynolds, his colleague, approached with a drier tone. "Reynolds, we received a report. You fit the description. Show your hands and back away." Before she could protest further, the police handcuffed her. Samantha screamed, attracting the attention of passers-by and students around her. "Samantha, no. I'm a student. You're mistaken. Look at my uniform." But his words fell on deaf ears. The police officers, convinced they were acting correctly, escorted him to their vehicle. A few students took videos with their phones, indignant murmurs spreading throughout the street. A mother who was present immediately recognized her daughter and rushed towards them. "Angela Carter, what are you doing to my daughter? Let her go right now." Miller, coldly, "Please step back, madam. We're doing our job." Panic rose. Samantha, tears in her eyes, was led away under the shocked gazes of the residents. What should have been an ordinary morning for her was turning into a nightmare. But in the shadows, a simple phone call would soon change the fate of that morning and of the two police officers. At the police station, Samantha sat on a cold bench, her hands still cuffed. Her gaze flickered between incomprehension and fear. She hadn't committed any crime, and yet she found herself being treated like a criminal. Angela Carter, his mother, was in a panic when she received the news. Without wasting a second, she took out her phone and called the only number that could immediately change the situation, that of the city's mayor, Elizabeth Harper. "Angela, Madam Mayor, this is Angela Carter. My daughter has been arrested for no reason. Samantha is in her school uniform. You must do something immediately." Mayor Harper frowned upon hearing the details. She knew the Carter family very well. Samantha was a brilliant and respected student, and Angela a committed citizen. She couldn't let such an injustice happen. "Harper, stay calm, Ms. Carter. I'll handle this personally. Don't leave Samantha there alone." A few minutes later, the phone rang at the police station. The police chief answered it, thinking it was an administrative matter. But as soon as he heard the mayor's firm voice, he felt his stomach clench. Harper, Chief, I want an immediate explanation for Samantha Carter's arrest. She has not broken any laws. You will rectify this mistake right away. The chief felt the pressure mounting. He ordered the two officers to release Samantha immediately. Miller and Reynolds, embarrassed and visibly nervous, obeyed. Samantha was quickly untied and taken into her mother's arms, who hugged her tightly. Samantha, sobbing, "Mom, thank you. I can't believe this is happening to me. Angela, I'm here, darling. Everything is all right now." In the streets of Brooksville, passers-by who had witnessed the incident were stunned. Videos taken by the students were already circulating on social media. The story of a young girl handcuffed for no reason and saved by the intervention of her mother and the mayor was about to shake the entire town. No sooner had Samantha been released than videos of her arrest circulated throughout Brooksville. Phones buzzed incessantly, and social media exploded. Everywhere, residents expressed their outrage. How could two police officers handcuff a teenage girl in her school uniform, in front of all her classmates, without checking the situation? At school, teachers and students were talking about nothing else. Samantha, still in shock, was surrounded by her friends who were trying to comfort her. Samantha's friend, "I can't believe they treated you like that." Samantha, "Me neither. I was just scared they'd never listen to me." Meanwhile, at the police station, Miller and Reynolds were trying to justify their actions. Miller, "We followed the procedure, there was a report." Reynolds, "Yes, but she's a student. We should have checked." The police chief called an emergency meeting with the mayor and the media. He announced that the two officers were suspended pending an internal investigation. Mayor Harper, in a public statement, stated, "Harper, we will not tolerate any abuse of power. Citizens must have confidence in the police. This unacceptable mistake will be dealt with the utmost rigor." Local and national media outlets picked up the story: a simple misunderstanding, a teenage girl in handcuffs, and the power of a phone call that had righted the wrong. The public was now demanding harsher penalties and a thorough review of police practices. In the city, an atmosphere of tension persisted. The inhabitants were discussing responsibility and authority, and the two police officers realized that their hitherto stable careers were beginning to falter under the weight of public opinion and their own mistakes. A few days after the incident, the internal investigation was concluded. All the elements were clear: Samantha Carter had not committed any offense, and the arrest had been the result of a hasty and unjustified action on the part of the two police officers. The police chief summoned Miller and Reynolds to his office. The atmosphere was heavy, each word weighing like a sentence. Police Chief, John, Frank, after reviewing all the evidence, "Your actions are deemed unacceptable. You are both dismissed, effective immediately." Miller, usually so self-assured, felt his world crumble. Reynolds looked down, unable to speak. Their careers, built on years of service, had just collapsed in seconds. Outside, Samantha resumed her normal life, but with a newfound inner strength. The school offered her psychological support, and Mayor Harper made a public statement emphasizing the seriousness of the mistake and the need to protect citizens' rights. Harper, speaking to the media, "This incident is a reminder that authority must always be exercised with discernment and respect. A simple phone call can sometimes restore justice, but we must work to ensure that this is never necessary." The town of Brooksville remained marked by the event. Residents remembered the scene in the street, Samantha's cries, and the power of a mother willing to do anything to defend her daughter. As for Miller and Reynolds, their loss was total: ruined reputation, lost jobs, and the shame of knowing that their single mistake had sent shockwaves through the entire community. A simple misunderstanding, a single phone call, and everything had changed forever. Samantha, for her part, continued on her way to school, her uniform impeccable, but this time, with the certainty that justice and vigilance could triumph, even in the face of authority.